the young man came in here again, and they're having musical concerts or something along the boulevard here, Lago Vega. But the young man just came in, and when he came in, I heard the shutter of a camera go like, and while I was laying here, like I said, I lay on my side, on my right side. So can you imagine if there was an operation going on because I've been communicating with a person, someone here in Iceland that's a few people away from Edward Snowden, and someone in Moscow that's one person away from Edward Snowden, one person that someone would be sent to come here. Remember, I told you the provider of this room, as well as the people that run these houses, rooming houses for the workers, are Ahmadiyya. The Ahmadiyya have good links with British intelligence. Imagine if the Russian intelligence combined and figured that why does this black guy want to talk to Edward Snowden? So yeah, with this one. So I don't know. I don't know if it's this number because you'd have to look at the traffic going in and out of that number. So can you imagine that just because a black guy doesn't want to be a digital slave, that they would send someone who is actually an operative? Because I see the way, not him, the way the guy, Alex, when I turn my back sometimes and I look and they stare at me, kind of like when he's drunk, he's like, we have our eye on you, being Muslim. Because of me being the Muslim, I was told in this more drunken state that we're watching you, we have an eye on you. That because I want my digital freedom, that they would have an operative and people getting images of how I live, just like when I was in the jail cell, in when I was in the jail cell in Tacoma in Pierce County, Washington. They had people that were federal agents and military. Listen to me very carefully. Pseudo former military or military people in the jail watching me back then in 2004. Can you imagine? Can you imagine something like that? And it's something to do with the FBI. Can you imagine that they would go that unconstitutional against me because I'm black and insignificant? I'm considered a nigger, insignificant nigger. Yeah, unimportant. Can you imagine? You know the reverberations and the shock waves that this would have in Washington D.C. if people find out that this shit has been going on, and then they try to take my life. A set group of federal law enforcement tried to take my life in California. They tried to attack me in California. Can you imagine? And I can't talk to any lawyers because no one wants to listen to me. That these federal agents, FBI or whatever federal agency, they tried to take my life and have me killed in California in the Modoc forest. I can't talk to anybody. No one will listen to me because I'm black. Can you imagine what this would happen? And then you have some that are like clean shaven former ops. Like one famous detective told me he called them black ops or another name he used. And this famous detective said of the West Coast or somewhere in the U.S. that we had problems with them in the past, and these people don't care about the U.S. Constitution. He told me that during the beginning of the Obama, or no, during the second term of the Obama era, when I spoke to him for the first time, he said they don't give a damn. He said they don't give a damn about the U.S. Constitution, even though they're sworn to it. He said we've observed they don't care, and some of them will turn against local law enforcement, similar to the Jason Bourne series of movies when CIA or other operatives started firing on local law enforcement, to conduct a black operation against citizens, and others. So can you imagine something like that? So this is why I was told while I'm here in Reykjavik, I have to be on alert. And what I do notice is that a lot of the political class, not all of them, but some of them, they would not. Nobody would respond to me. Nobody would respond to me. So this is why the guy was telling me of the electronic or digital freedom thing, which people always say, go to the EFF. The EFF can help you because there are people that exist in the world that are digital sleuths. They can find out what's happening present tense, even if they have to use the back channels. Particularly certain attorneys have these kind of connections, and they could find out um, back channels, and they can find out what happened to you past tense. Yeah, if you provide them the right information, they'll be able to find out present tense and past tense. Back channels, they have the ability to do that. And but people, if they deem you irrelevant, they will not tell you the truth. They'll say just forget about it. Nobody, you'll never know what happened. You'll never know that certain server companies were giving you information, ex parte, or Sun's constitution, or Sun's third party process, that they were giving your information to other state or non-state or former state actors or parties who wanted to use it derogatorily against you. Yeah. Yeah, they would do that. Even though they have a reputation of privacy, you'll never know. But you can't. There are people that can find out. People like a Bill Gates, they can find out. People like a Carlos Slim Hello, they can find out. Yeah, there are people have the ability to find out. But the problem is people like myself don't have the money to hire. See, that's why I'm starting with smaller stuff, but this is bigger. This is involving big money. Well, big money. But I want to see the face of my enemy while I'm free, and be able to challenge him and be able to call him out like a jury of your peers in a court of law or in some sort of venue which is witness, not some star chamber or illegal fighting dungeon. Somewhere in the venue where I'm called them out and and what I want the question presented is why. Just like I had a British Muslim send me a message, who's a famous British Muslim of notoriety. Her name, I think it's actually Sheikha Ali or something like that. Famous. And then I asked her about Ustaz Khola Hassan, where she knows this British Muslim said, I don't know what you're talking about. Meaning that there would have to be a pressure from the British intelligence establishment, yeah, to disenfranchise me from the body Islamic, from the rest of the Muslims. Can you imagine an operation? I'm just saying, come along with me on this journey. See, it says, no idea what you're talking about. And this is in response to me telling her, Assalamu alaikum. I was just trying to reach someone in our Muslim community there in the UK who has Ustad Khola Hassan's contact at Albatross Consulting, since there is no phone number listed whatsoever. You are part of the Tafsir study circle, right? See, now Ustad Khola Hassan, the scary part about it, she was sitting with Sheikh Alim Kelwick, who is a Sufism type of sheikh. And a lot of Sufism people, they try to drive you insane. They try to go crazy, especially if you're a Negro. See, what I don't like about Sufism is a lot of Sufism, they pretend and they say that they're the Quran and Sunnah. In reality, those people, not only when you talk about Bid'ah, even some Salafis, but they Beacon Tafsir circle, but they're involved in Sufism like these people may be, but they adhere to ethnic hierarchy. And as far as the Quran and Sunnah, ethnic hierarchy or racial ethnicity hierarchy, this is anathema. This is anathema to Islam. Ethnic hierarchy. So what happened is this person said, "Don't know what you're talking about," and her name is on a list of leading Muslims. I think this message to the wrong person. And for a long time, she didn't even return the salams. This one is Ustaz Sadiq. But a lot of them tend to be secular or with the Sufism thing. Also, like my name is Rehana Sadiq. See, all these people are prominent Muslims, so there is some sort of effort, and I think I got a weird feeling, gut, like Miss Alvarez told me spiritually, at her being a Catholic, that it's involving people that are by birth Muslims, like Indians or Pakistanis or some weird melange mixture of that, or some type of Mediterranean ancestry Muslims or pseudo apostate or something with Eastern ethnicity who feel that I'm not good, who feel that I'm too low of an ethnic material to be deeply involved with Islam, to be involved with Muslims. And then what really gave them everything that they needed, was the pictures that were sorted of me and things about me in Singapore. What happened in Singapore? That was what Salim, the brother in New York City, Salim Mujahid told me. That was the lowest blow that they did. That was the lowest blow. That was really below the belt pelt and smash that they did towards me. It's when they carried out the Singapore operation. They had me my head wrapped and hooded and blindfolded and stuff like that as an extremist, as an international. That's what they call me. They call me international extremist. International extremist. Yep. Which is a lie. It's a goddamn lie. So they have this thing private. Everybody always says go to the EFF. I have been to the headquarters of the EFF in San Francisco, knocking on the door regularly, and it was like people was treating me almost as if I was a kook, imagining. Like this is all in my head, imagining things. Nothing's going on. Forget about it. Just move on with your life. But you can protect yourself in the future. Yeah, you can protect yourself in the future. But forget about what happened. Yeah, but you can protect yourself in the future. Don't worry about that. You know, and see what I'm saying? Human rights officer. See, but no one does anything when it comes to digital human rights to have relationships, and I think this is what's going on here. Yeah, I have a feeling what's going on here. So what they're doing is the irrelevance that I have applied to my identity is one, being a black male, an Afro-ethnic male gender, and number two, being Muslim. You really don't have any right. And there's this continuous thing. See, this is Solas Foundation, which all of this might be Sufism related. See, Ustad Hola Hassan, Albatross Consultancy, and then you see the different names. Solas Foundation. You see the different names. See, Dilawar Khan. See, these are prominent people. Director of Eastern Trust, London Muslim Center. See, meaning like I really, by having words or being upset. Let me see if the name of Sheikh Adam Kelwick is there. Sheikh Rizwan Muhammad. See, a lot of this. It's not in alphabetical order. It's in some sort of ranking, but not alphabetical order. See, this is what I was trying to find out, because these sisters are communicated. They're connected with a lot of people, and they know a lot of women that have been abused, or that is up in age or going through emotional trauma. This brother was a brother who gave me $1,000. I didn't know that's how he looked. That means his face. Now that I see his face, this is not an Egyptian. This is like an Algerian, a Jazairi or a Moroccan type of face. He sent me $1,000 to get married out. Yeah, towards the Singapore. That brother. I didn't know that he was that famous, and he's working with her, Ustaz Kola. So they know of people who would want to get married. So this is another one, mcb.org, the Muslim Council of Britons, right? And these are key people that are largest Muslim, and one of them is Sheikha Selina Begum Ali. Begum sometimes is Pakistani. Sometimes the word Begum is used in Bangladesh, between those two, Pakistani or Bangladesh. India, not so much. Begum and Ali, which is 44 there, her number, and the other one, Ustaz Rohana Sadiq. Rohana Sadiq may be of a Palestinian or Bilad Shami type of ancestry from the name, just like the singer Rihanna, who was asked to leave the Abu Dhabi mosque because she was taking a little bit of risque, So these people are talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. You see, so there may be some kind of pressure involving MI6 you know, to expulse me from the Muslim community, from the body of Muslims. Like I told you, when I had landed in Reykjavik, I saw this Englishman prancing back and forth with no luggage. He had no apparent luggage and no apparent appearance of travel or dishevelment or rush or hurry on him. Because usually there's like a stress of hurry also and pressure. He had none of that. No signs of it on him, but he had a mobile phone and he was walking back and forth and he would glance at me, but he had a real angry type of a look, authority, like a glaring as if somebody he could have you arrested right away. Yeah, that kind of glaring, and he kept walking, pacing back and forth with the phone and talking about things, mentioning something, sort of a hushed voice about satellite or this like that. Yeah, real upset because suddenly coming here rapidly like that with a ticket the same day you fall on the British, the GCHQ territory. Yeah, you fall into their purview. And these people, whoever they were very upset that I left like that. Very upset. Because what they were doing was creating a terrorism narrative around my identity. This is what they were trying to do. And then all these terrorist acts broke out. Yeah, in Europe. All of them. And I had nothing to do with them. I have nothing to do with them. So you could see that there was a targeted attack towards my livelihood, to hit my livelihood so that I never have any money out. Yeah, and then you have the evil of my fellow Muslims. Yeah, and I'm not afraid to say it anymore. I would at one time, but I lost Brother Dilawar Khan because of my words via WhatsApp. I lost him because I was saying why it is it they couldn't help. They've been put pressure on them by something not to help me, even with a small amount of money. I'm talking about like £100, £50, not to help me across international borders. Yep, there is a movement to stop people from helping fellow Muslims unless you are a part of Africa or the things that are really considered like you're really not threatening. If you are on the begging bowl in Africa, in the dust bowl, Bismillah. Somewhere in Africa, but really you're supposed to do three like this. And so anyway, alhamdulillah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In Africa, and you have no financial capability or nothing, then it's okay. They might let you have a little something. But as far as to start entrepreneurship or a real business or something like that, to really take off and to become affluent, really wealthy, making over 20,000 or 30,000 euros a month or more, heck no, man. Heck no. They don't want nobody giving you those amounts of money. They don't want nobody. They threaten people. There's an operation that's going around threatening Muslims not to help each other, particularly vulnerable